We're in Way Media.
Hello, Twisted Humans. Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting? Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alecia. And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked. Hello, and welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast where Sierra's ears are being bent. We are trying to bring you guys the best audio we can possibly bring, and we're recording on multiple platforms, so bear with us if you are a YouTube watcher. But that said, I have a haunted episode for you guys today, and I'm very excited to tell you about it. It is pretty infamous, and I have been wanting to cover it for a really long time, so what better time to do it than a spooky palate cleanser right after a serial killer episode? But before we get into that, Sierra, do you have a fun fact for me?
I do have a fun fact. It's a very old-timey fun fact.
Oh,
Hopefully
I love
that
it.
we haven't covered before. I'm going to read from the post that I saw on Pagan and Occult Humor Facebook page. I'm just going to read their exact quote that they put. I did fact check this information, so it is correct according to Google, but the way they wrote it is just, chef's kiss. In antiquity, women who had anxiety, mood swings, and depression were sent by their husbands to the doctor who diagnosed them with a disease called hysteria. Their treatment was based on a pelvic massage with the purpose of achieving hysterical paroxysm, also known as an orgasm.
I was just about to say, that sounds familiar.
There were so many women who begged to attend consultations to have their treatment for hysteria that doctors at the end of the workday were exhausted and their hands were shaky. That's why they decided to invent a useful device that produced rhythmic vibrations and that hysterical paroxysms was achieved easier and faster in the patient without the need for the common manual massage. This
So are
is
we
the
talking
origin
about a vibrator?
of the medical vibrator. At the time, it was seen as a healing artifact. Even the wealthiest women had them in their homes for when they felt bouts of hysteria.
What
And it just
the
makes me so
fuck?
happy. Look at the picture.
I love an old-timey explanation of an orgasm and a vibrator. I'm here for it. Oh, the scandal. Can you send me that? I'm gonna
Yeah,
make it into a Fun Fact Friday because that's hilarious.
it's so great.
Yeah, I can't even follow that with my fun fact. My fun fact is that in your lifetime, as a human, we spend 3 years in total of our life on the toilet.
Oh my god.
And the reason that this fun fact intrigued me is because myself, like many women all over the world, are married to men.
Mm-hmm.
And those men spend 30 minutes at a time in the bathroom. So I'm curious, is this statistic specifically based on women, men, or the average of the two? Because I think men have to be more than 3 years. Like, I think they got to be at least at 5.
It might be, but I don't know if women could even be up to 3 years.
Yeah,
I don't know.
agree. I think it has to be an average.
Yeah. I feel like most men are always shocked when a woman gets off the toilet and they're like, "You're done already?" Yeah. We're done already. Like we're pretty quick in there, you know?
That's why I think it has to be an average because like
Yeah.
my longest poop 5 minutes max. Like
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we just get in there and get it done and leave.
Yeah,
That's all you
what
gotta
else
do.
are you doing in there? And like full transparency, I understand parents will spend extra time in the bathroom, but they're not necessarily sitting on the toilet. It's just to like have 5 minutes of peace. But what are men doing in there?
I've asked him before, And he says he doesn't like to push. He just wants it to fall out. And I'm like, so you just sit there and wait? You just wait for it to decide to fall out? Like, come on. You know? Men are weird.
No offense to men. Ladies, if you're listening and you too enjoy a long poop, let us know because I'm curious. But 3 years of your life on average is being spent sitting on the toilet. So you're welcome for
Insane.
that. And a third of your life is spent sleeping. So get a good mattress, okay? I watched the episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine last night just for background noise to fall asleep to, where Jake and Amy are fighting over him needing a new mattress and him not wanting to spend the money on it. So
Yeah.
there you go.
There you go. More fun facts.
That's your life, people. And speaking of life, my episode today is a haunted episode, so therefore death. And I am drinking a wine that is not what I'm telling you guys about today. And I am ashamed to admit that I'm not drinking it because I would have loved to have tried it, but this is actually a listener suggestion from Alyssa. She has sent us this recommendation from Australia. She is one of our Australian listeners, and this comes from Swan Valley. It is a rosé, and it is called Ghost Planet.
Whoa!
It was a special from one of the local wineries in 2022, so you can still find the odd bottle, but it is far and few in between. But it is a very fruit-forward, very just like homey, like small town winery wine. And she says she loved it when she got the chance to try it, and she thought it was cheeky and fun. The logo is our purple and bright green, and it has bats all over it. So I'm actually going to show you
I'm
a
looking it
photo.
up.
Are you?
I am. Oh my goodness.
Are you not obsessed? Honestly, I love the listener suggestion. So if you guys have wines you want to recommend, you always seem to take my word for it in messages that I've gotten. I'm not an expert. I just like what I like, and I find what works for the show. But if you have a suggestion or something fun, please send it our way. So I thought it would be the perfect episode to feature that if you are one of our Australian listeners. And you too can get your hands on that. But I am just drinking my bodacious white wine. So from Canada over here.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you what you were drinking. Tell the people what you were drinking.
Oh, I'm drinking a Caesar.
Tell me your best friend's Canadian without telling me. I mean, Caesars are the way to go. Do you put Worcestershire and Tabasco in it, or do you just do vodka, clam?
Vodka, clamato, and not pineapple juice, pickle juice. Lots of pickle juice.
I was like, if you fucking put pineapple juice in there, we're not friends anymore.
Pickle juice, and there's Worcestershire in there too.
But no hot sauce?
Sometimes I do. I did not this time. I did salt and pepper.
Okay, that's tasty. I love pickle juice in my Caesars too. And a shit ton of pepper.
I don't like it to taste like tomatoes at all.
And a Caesar is always worthy of a shout out. But before we get into this week's haunted episode, we are going to take a quick break to hear a promo from our friend Kylie over at Primetime Crime. Okay, so welcome back. The house that we are talking about today is no longer lived in as a family home, but receives hundreds of visitors each year. It is open to day and night tours, and you can also spend the night, like our favorites over at Project Fear, if you're feeling brave enough. But why it is no longer lived in is pretty obvious to us. It's because it is extremely active with paranormal activity and pretty sinister energy. Quick sidebar, because Sierra and I have gone down the rabbit hole of haunted houses that are and are not blurred out on Google Maps, I was actually surprised to learn that this one is not blurred out. The vast history of the house almost certainly leads to the hauntings, so let's get into it. We are going to Atchison, Kansas to talk about the Sallie House. Maybe you've heard of it. The home was originally built between 1867 and 1871 by the Finney family. The plan was for the patriarch of the family, Dr. Charles Finney, to open his practice on the main level of the home and for him and his family to live upstairs and towards the back of the home. The front would serve as an office space and had examination rooms. And according to the rumor mill, one day a frantic mother came in carrying her 6-year-old daughter, Sallie, pleading for help. She told the doctor that she had collapsed from severe abdominal pain out of nowhere, and Dr. Finney diagnosed her as having appendicitis. He knew that there was no time to delay and that surgery would be needed. In his expertise, at this state in her symptoms, the appendix would likely burst soon. Dr. Finney placed Sallie on the operating table and began to cut into her, realizing that the anesthesia had not yet kicked in. Sallie began thrashing while Dr. Finney was trying to hold her still, and he accidentally nicked an artery with the movement. Sallie's screams suddenly stopped, and she grew pale and limp and would tragically bleed out and die on that operating table, with her last memories being of a man who she believed was hurting her on purpose. You're 6. You don't understand why you're receiving surgery.
Yeah.
In another version of Sallie's legend, she was born as a result of the affair between Dr. Finney and another woman. And when the little girl became ill, her mother brought her to Dr. Finney saying, "Save your daughter, do something." But he didn't want to allow them to go to a hospital because he was worried that the extramarital affair would be exposed. So instead, he performed a surgery that, despite his doctorate, he had no, he should not have performed it, basically. So, those are the 2 versions of the story.
I just want to say, I'm sure that, this is an old-timey thing, but now in 2025, there's a lot of things you can do from people's homes. A doctor is not one of them. Don't go to a home doctor, please.
Yeah, please
Please.
do not report, or please do not perform appendectomies in your home. Thank you so much. So now, as I'm sure you can imagine, the house today is known as the Sallie House because many believe the ghost of the little girl still remains in the home following her untimely death. After being a doctor's office and home to many members of the Finney family for so many years, the house was sold in 1947. So that's a long-ass time for it to be owned by one family.
Yeah.
According to the death records, 4 separate members of the Finney family lived in the home at different points and died of natural causes there. The neighborhood is quaint and unassuming, and if you didn't know that this house was haunted or anything about it prior, you would just drive right by, not thinking anything of it. I myself have always known about the Sallie House, but never actually saw the outside until researching this case. Multiple former tenants of the house have reported paranormal activity, forcing them to eventually move out. Spirits are apparently extra active around male residents and visitors, and have on occasion attacked or scratched them. People believe that because Sallie's last memories were quite negative of the male doctor, she targets men in the afterlife. Multiple former tenants of the house have reported paranormal activity, forcing them to eventually move out, and spirits are apparently extra active around male residents and visitors, have on occasion scratched or even attacked them. And people believe that this is because Sallie's last memories were negative of a male doctor, and that's why she targets men in the afterlife. The house didn't receive much notoriety for its haunts until the early 1900s, though, when Deborah and Tony Pickman moved in. The couple moved in 1992, and after the first month of living there, the family was settling in nicely. There was nothing out of the ordinary, but stuff slowly started to get weird. Lights would flicker, items would be moved, and they were so busy getting ready to welcome a new baby boy that they just explained all of it away. They're like, we're tired. It's an old house. We're a busy family. Everything is fine. Not fine. When their son Taylor was born, the activity really ramped up. Objects would fly across the room. Strange molds would grow inside of the home with no explanation of water or rot or anything that could be causing it. Items would be lost. And the strangest and most haunting occurrence inside this home was that the baby's stuffed animals would be arranged in a circle at night on the floor in the baby's nursery. Like they're holding a good old-fashioned seance.
Right.
On the evening that the stuffed animals were first discovered, Tony, the patriarch of the family, had burning pain on his back that turned out to be 3 deep scratches along his spine. The family did seek answers and learn the history and rumors about the house, and they were so saddened and moved, really, by Sallie's story that they kind of just welcomed her as, like, this ghostly child of their own. They're like, everything is fine, we embrace your presence, I'm so sorry this happened to you. But that really didn't help. The tormenting only became worse.
Have we never covered this?
No. And I'm like, how have we never covered
Yeah.
this?
And also, I feel like I know so much about it.
You do because of Project Fear. Yeah, the Sallie House is infamous, really. So, even at a child's birthday party hosted in the home, a doll caught fire for no reason. Like, what would you do
Jesus.
if you were hosting your infant child's birthday? And it's like, here's the flaming doll. Don't mind this. Everything's fine. So they knew that something wasn't right. And after 2 years of torture, the Pickmans would move out. When the Project Fear gang visited, they got intelligent answers, with their ovulus pointing to a bottle of rubbing alcohol by the painting of Sallie in the kitchen. This was the operating room back in the Finney's days and believed to be the room that Sallie died in. She also seemed to allude that she was locked in the room in the afterlife. When asked how many spirits are in the house, they got the word 4. And after a series of unknown noises, a thud, some REM pod activity drawing them to various rooms of the home, the ovulus said poltergeist. Some believe that in addition to the ghost of Sallie, there is a much darker spirit there, believed to have stemmed from a pentagram drawn in the basement. None of the homeowners know how it came to be, but it was discovered in the early 2000s during a renovation when the carpet was pulled up. Every time somebody tries to clean it or erase it or pave it, it will reappear, and the markings seem to be permanent as part of the home's foundation. I'm sorry, burn it. It's not worth it. It's not meant to be a home anymore.
I disagree. I mean, that's weird, but pentagrams are not scary. I don't know why everybody's so fucking
What
scared of a
is
pentagram.
scary is what's happening because of the pentagram, not the pentagram itself.
Yeah, but is it because of the pentagram?
I don't
Probably
know.
not.
You speculate after this next fact. Luminol tests have been used throughout the house and have shown signs of blood spatter in the closet of the master bedroom. Why? No one knows what this is about, and it's definitely not a normal place to have a blood stain in your house, but what do I know? I don't personally have blood spatter in my closet, okay?
You've never gotten a nosebleed while playing hide and seek? I'm trying.
Flailing your arms? No, Sierra, that's just your house. The darker spirit has also been known to act like Sallie and trick people. Because of the movement and the absolute fuckery that some people have experienced, the other spirit is, to me, most likely a poltergeist. Poltergeists are usually loud and mysterious. They also specifically target certain members of the family, like in Tony's case. But at other times, the activity has been so severe that ghost hunters referred to it as being demonic. But as you guys know on the show, Sierra and I really don't believe in that kind of stuff, so I'm going poltergeist. This lends cadence to why the homeowners were drawn out. But regardless of which spirit this really is, or if it's a combination of many, the Sallie House is extremely haunted. Now, I did reference the 2 episodes of Project Fear, and I'm not going to give everything in that episode away because it includes a lot of spooky and really cool stuff, and we would always recommend their YouTube channel, so go and check that out. It's also in the show notes on our website, and by show notes, I mean resources. And in addition to our favorites, a docuseries was filmed about the house called Sightings, where the Pickmans lived and were highlighted as part of this documentary inside the home in the early 1990s. It was also experienced by dozens of ghost hunters, including Sam Colby and Zach Baggins of Ghost Adventures. People who have paid to visit the home haven't been able to stay for more than a few hours, feeling a deep heaviness and dread. There are also children's toys everywhere that are meant to draw Sallie out to play, but they'll just go off on their own, like, I'm hungry. No. Fuck no. Visitors have also reported apparitions, disembodied voices, objects being moved or thrown across the room, shadow people being touched and scratched. Electronics have stopped working altogether. The list goes on. Get your haunted bingo cards out.
Can you imagine,
No.
when...
Already
No, I mean,
no.
so when the toys go off on their own, and you're like, fucking no, that's not okay, right? But people put those toys there so a ghost can play with them. Like, imagine you're at the house, and the ghost is just a fucking human, except a spirit. They don't know they're dead, and they're, like, playing with the toy, and you're like, oh my god, no, no. And they're just like, what? You're the one who put it there. I'm just playing with it because you
like
put it
little
there.
kid spirits, I always feel
Yeah.
really sad
So
for.
sad.
Like, it's like, okay, I'll play with this ball with you. Yeah, that's true. But
Like,
then,
when people are
because
like,
there's...
will you give us a sign that you're here? And then you do it, and they're like, oh my god, no. Like, you asked me to do this.
That would be
What
a
do you
really good,
mean?
like, funny spoof content idea.
Yeah.
It's like being the ghost side of things.
Yeah.
Because it's true. Like, if that's really what we theorize, and that, like, people are just on a different plane, if
Yeah.
you died before me and you came and, like, chucked something onto the ground or, like, made a noise or a movement that only I would know was you, and I freaked the fuck out, you'd be like, bitch, I'm not coming to visit you again. Like, yeah, like, our natural instinct is to be fearful of these things, and I think for me, I'm not afraid because I'm such an energy person. Like, if something is really wrong, I like to think that I'll know it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
what's to say that this just isn't a person in the afterlife trying to answer your question, like Sierra said. So that's a good point. Next time you're ghost hunting people, be nice, okay?
Yeah. Quit
There
yelling
could
at
be a
them.
little kid ghost with, like, sensitive feelings on the other side. And specifically in this episode, it made me laugh so hard because Dakota gets put in the basement by himself for a few hours, and he's like,
Yeah.
and they even say, like, are you not answering us because you're fucking with Dakota? And then stuff happens to him. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, sometimes ghosts are pranksters too. If I die before you, I'm letting your old lady ass know 100% that I'm gonna fuck with you. Purely out of love, so get ready. Whichever one of us dies first has the right to fuck with the other in the afterlife. 100%.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's like a rite of passage. A few visitors have even reported seeing an apparition of a little girl, thought to be Sallie. Others have seen an apparition of an older woman standing at the windows and looking outward. I think that because it started off as a doctor's office, that comes with its fair share of energy as it is, and people are sick and dying and seeking medical attention, especially in the early 1800s. This is just like a vortex for energy. And this was with years of families and memories under the Finneys being within the home. So it could just be a playground for ghosts within that family. Many paranormal experts wonder if the apparition is one or several spirits. They also point to evidence of there being a possible portal within the home, allowing spirits to pass freely, and the darker spirit that's in the home is anchored to the pentagram. But no matter what you believe, the home at 508 North 2nd Street in Atchison, Kansas, draws paranormal enthusiasts from all over the world. It was originally listed in 2016 for $1 million, but it couldn't be sold with its reputation and eventually ended up selling for half of the price to the current owner. It is definitely going on my wish list of haunted places to visit with Sierra, and from what I saw, Atchison itself has quite the history and is known to be one of the most haunted cities in America. So I think I speak for both of us when I say count us in to at least explore the area. But that said, did you know all of that about the Sallie House? Would you want to visit the Sallie House with me? What are your theories on the ghost activity? As you've seen that Project Fear episode as well, so.
I would definitely visit the Sallie House. I did not know that Atchison was haunted at all.
Yeah, there's so many cool places to visit. There's like a haunted pub. There's like an antique store that's very similar to Wooden Tassel that we went to in Cincinnati. There's like a whole old cemetery. There's like a lot of like random stores that have been renovated along the main strip of like the historical part of town that have like weird shit happen to them all the time. It kind of feels like Fort Langley that I've talked about so many times where I live. So I think we gotta go to Atchison, Texas, say hi to Trevin and Amanda, and then move on to our next haunted adventure.
Yeah, weird. I did not know that about that. I did know most of the information about the Sallie House. I don't think that I believe in poltergeists. I think that poltergeists are just teenagers getting in tune with their psychic abilities. I think all humans have psychic abilities, and I think that teenagers, when they're going through puberty and whatnot, accidentally tap into their psychic abilities and cause poltergeists all the time.
No, but a
Poltergeist, quote unquote.
poltergeist can be in an afterlife situation where there's no teenagers in the house. Like the one you covered where that girl, what I forget what episode that was. I think it was episode 16, a long time ago, where she was believed to be a poltergeist, like host.
Yeah.
But she was just 16. There's no teenagers in this house. So that's
Yeah,
weird.
that's why I don't think it's a poltergeist, because there's no teenager in the house. I think it's just a fucking ghost. Just a normal ass ghost. Maybe multiples.
I mean, as somebody that grew up with cupboards slamming and like weird shit happening all over my house, I agree. Anything is possible. But either way, I definitely understand why no one lives there, but I also really want to visit. Have you seen the outside of the house like recently? Like it just looks like a tiny little house with like
No.
lawn furniture in front of it. Like you would never know
Yeah.
that this is like, why? Apparently I'm losing my voice today, guys. You would never know that this place was haunted if you drove by it. But it was built in like the early 1800s. You never know. Just saying.
Never know.
You never know. And as Sierra has been house hunting and has found a place, me and Kevin look on and off as our mortgage renews here. And one of the houses that I really like was built in 1905. And it's like, I could deal with the price if I can build like a real kitchen, because houses in the early 1900s had like weird kitchen layouts. Like I can build a real kitchen. I can work with it for the price, but I'm probably going to be haunted afterwards more than I already am. So
Did I tell you about the story of the haunting in our house?
No.
It's not a real
Maybe
story,
that
but
can be what you're
no, it's
looking
not a real
forward
story.
to.
It's when we got the house, Jesse was telling his brother that we got this house, and he's like, "Where'd you find this house?" Whatever. And he said that the people who are selling it to us, their mom died a year ago. And Jesse's brother was like, "In the house?" And Jesse was like, "I don't know. We didn't ask that." And he's like, "The house is probably haunted as fuck. That's a bad idea. That's gonna be a bad house." And I was like, "No, even if it is haunted, I'm just gonna get a Ouija board and become BFFs with the ghost. It's fine." And Jesse was like, "We're not doing any of that." I was like, "It's fine.
I don't
Everything is
agree with
fine."
any of your ideas. But meanwhile, when I come and visit you in your new house, I'm bringing the
Yeah.
Ouija board. But that is the case of the Sallie House. Grandmas, don't listen to this podcast. And Sierra, what do you have going on after this? What's exciting? What's up?
Um, my kids are off school again tomorrow. As we are recording this, Alabama and Florida had
Snowmageddon.
snow, so much snow, unimaginable snow. My children have had 3 days of school off, so
Lucky
um,
fuckers.
I'm
I
just
mean
gonna
that with
finish
love.
reading Onyx Storm after this. That's what I'm gonna do. So far, so perfect. Fucking love Fourth Wing. I fucking love the Empyrean series as a whole. Oh my god. I cannot believe that these books, there's supposed to eventually be 6 or 7 of them, and we're only on number 3. I'm gonna be a grandma myself when I finally get to finish this fucking series, and it sucks. But it's amazing. She just
Worth
better
it.
not leave us on a cliffhanger.
I am not okay after the third Akhtar book, but we talk about a lot of books on Bitch and Wine, so you guys will have to come join us on Patreon. We also have big plans for Bitch and Wine to be more of a everything category than it already is, from recaps and discussions to cases to books to movies to whatever we feel like talking about. So it would be a lot of fun if you guys come and joined us over there.
Yeah.
But something that I'm looking forward to after this is just eating dinner. I had a weird lunch today. We got a gift card from one of our customers and we ordered lunch from a place that I have never eaten at before. And because I have a history of an eating disorder, unknown foods really scare me unless it is with a trusted person or a trusted place.
Mhm.
So I actually didn't eat a lot of my food, so I'm just really excited to eat dinner tonight. And I don't mean to sound ungrateful at all. I'm just a psychopath. Um, and I don't like soggy tortillas. So I basically just ate chicken for lunch today. Do you know
You
what
would
a
not like
donair is? Like
burrito
those
tacos.
wraps? I don't like burritos for that
No, not
reason.
burritos. Burrito
Oh,
tacos.
the
Have you
ones
ever
that you
had
dip? I
Yeah.
still haven't tried those
Oh
ones.
my
I just don't
god.
like soggy tortillas.
It
Grosses me
tastes like
out.
Skyline
I
in
love
a taco.
Skyline though. It's a texture thing for me. It's not a taste
Yeah.
thing.
Well, that's why you gotta
It
get the
makes me
corn
gag.
tortillas, because corn ones don't
I
get
love
soggy.
corn tortillas, but these were, have you ever had it's called a donair? Or like, it's like those wraps with like lettuce, tomato, cucumbers, tzatziki, like meat kind of thing.
Okay, that sounds like a euro.
Yes, they're euros. I've heard them
Okay.
called both things. Um, but this place was, I don't know how long they had our food for takeout before we actually came and picked it up, but it was really gross. That is I'm looking forward to eating, guys.
Yeah.
That's how basic this is. And we will see you next week for Sierra's
Disappeared, I guess. Change up.
maybe to be determined. And we will see you guys next Tuesday for a brand new episode. And in the meantime, keep it twisted. Twisted and Uncorked is a proud member of Weirding Way Media. Hosted and produced by Sierra Zorn and Alecia Watson. If you like the show, don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can check out all things Twisted on our website, twistedanduncorked.com, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode.